Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, January 11th, 2018. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. In light of accusations being leveled against Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez in the ongoing saga surrounding former fashion model Yogi Farrell, Prime Minister and Minister of Legal Affairs Dr. Ralph Gonzalez says he has advised the minister to stay silent on the issue, at least for now. On WeFM earlier today, PM Gonzalez said a letter hand delivered to the wife of the finance minister at her office and one also at the office of the prime minister by 22-year-old Otley Hall resident Yogi Farrell contained what he described as a mountain of nasty and sickening lies. After being tight-lipped on the matter for some time, the prime minister said that the finance minister, his wife, a senior counsel at the attorney general's office, Karen Duncan Gonzalez, and their 7-year-old daughter have been wronged. He also called on persons who have been commenting on the matter to get the facts and not be carried away by sensational news.
I mean, it has a lot of nastiness in it.
Very much so.
A set of defamatory, a mountain of lies and abuse. I mean, just sickening. So what do we have now? From that sequence of events, clearly, Karen, her 7-year-old daughter, nor Camilo, none of them has done anything wrong.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, they have been wronged. Karen made a report. The police acted, took the lady to the magistrate court. The magistrate acted in accordance with the law. And that's that.
PM Gonzalez explained that though the public might want to hear from the finance minister on the issue, he, along with Deputy Prime Minister Louis Straker, advised them not to speak on the matter at this time.
She hand-delivered it there. She hand-delivered one by Camilo's office. She hand-delivered one here at the office of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
The envelope in which that document was is still in the possession of the staff here. And the person who received it knows who delivered it.
Yes.
Knows the individual, the same individual who delivered it.
Yes.
Why don't people just get basic facts? And let me say this. I have advised Camilo to say nothing at this stage. To say nothing yet. So Louis has advised him similarly. I know that some talk show hosts who went off on the deep end, and when they realized that they were in error to have gone off, they're now comparing Camilo and Ralph. They're saying, well, you know, though it wouldn't affect Camilo in his constituency, it might affect him in leadership stakes, because, you know, if it is Ralph would be out there blazing guns, taking on everybody who wants to be taken on.
Emphasizing that mental illness is a serious matter, the Prime Minister said that he wished the former fashion model get the necessary help to make her well.
She's a young lady. She went to up to the community college. I'd like to see her stabilize the mental issues. I'd like to see her get on with her life. I'd like to see if she can go to university, if she stabilizes herself with her. I'd like to see her get a career. I know her mother. You know, and I'm not saying anything adverse about the family or anything like that. And you notice the concern which I'm talking about.
Meanwhile, in a news release issued on Wednesday evening, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Human Rights Association, the SVG-HRA, appealed to the public to refrain from publishing and republishing defamatory material and notes surrounding the Yogi Farrell saga. In the news release, the association said no report was made to them on the matter. However, they felt it was prudent to make a statement at this point in time on the matter and appeal to the general public to refrain from the publication and republication of material which is likely to attract liability either criminally under the Cybercrime Act or civilly, subject to the laws of defamation. The association further noted that under the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a court has the power to order that a person be sent to the mental health center for evaluation. It pointed out that Section 1151 of the Criminal Procedure Code Cap 172 provides the following, where in the course of a trial or preliminary inquiry, the court has reason to believe that the accused may be of unsound mind and consequently incapable of making his defense, it shall inquire into the fact of such unsoundness and may for that purpose order him to be detained in such place as the court may direct or in such other place as may be provided by any law for medical observation and report for any period not exceeding 1 month. The association said Section 7.1 of the Mental Health Act Cap 294 also states where a court has ordered that a person charged before it who appears to be incapable of making his or her defense to be detained for report, that person shall be admitted to a psychiatric hospital and detained therein. However, any order made by a court for the detention and evaluation of any person can be challenged by way of an appeal in accordance with the relevant provisions. Overseas-based Vincentian social worker Earl Old George Daniel has taken the opportunity to comment on the ongoing discussion here on mental health and has sounded the importance of being able to identify mental issues so that persons can get the necessary help. During a telephone interview, Daniel highlighted the importance of taking mental illness seriously, noting that it can affect how a person behaves and their outlook on life.
Signs that a person is mental health is deteriorating would be, they will have confused thinking. There will be social withdrawal. There will be drastic changes in their eating habits and in their sleeping habits. There will be strong feelings of anger. They will show signs of prolonged depression, or sadness, or they become irritable for a prolonged period of time. And such a person would have strong thoughts or delusion. That's how you want to recognize when a person's mental health is deteriorating. And when it happens, it is encouraged that that such a person be assessed, professionally. Once you see those signs, and you must have one or more, not just one symptom, but there must be several of these symptoms showing that will indicate that that problem needs to be assessed.
The social worker, who is now living and working in Canada, also emphasized the importance of not stigmatizing persons with mental illness.
Stigma, which attaches itself, to the illness itself, that forces people to just remain quiet. Because if you remain quiet, now this would lead. This is not good for that individual, because remaining quiet would just help to perpetuate that stigma, or depressed or something like that. Then they've been shunned by society. Then they've been discriminated against. Then they've been socially isolated. So those are that's the dilemma that's faced by persons suffering from who are mentally ill. That's why most times they do not come out, because you tend to be excluded. You have less chance of gaining employment or keeping your employment. People don't think that you can be responsible in any way, shape, or form. So you've been excluded and pushed aside. And who wants to be treated like that?
The Kingstown Fish Market was livelier than usual today, as several fish vendors engaged in protest action over what they deemed unfair conditions. Speaking with our news team, the fish vendors stated that their protest action stems from a sudden increase in the price of ice a necessary commodity used to preserve fish, as well as other actions taken by the input warehouse, the company in charge of the facility.
And now they come and bring out a paper without calling the vendors and discuss with us and cost us $20 a box for a box of ice again to ice up our fish. If we buy 100 pounds of fish and we have a worker, what would we make to pay the worker with? It is real unfair and we need help in the fish market.
When you come, you have to pay $30 for the scale, $30 for the 2 boxes of ice. And today, you might only make $800, and you have to return back those fish that you didn't get sell and ice them up, but you have to pay $20 to get a box of ice. If you use 3 or 4 boxes of ice, 20 by 3 or 4, and you can't even make back your money. So we want the nation and the Prime Minister to hear our cry, because this is wickedness.
In them head, what you can do about? Just to ice up the ball when them inside that, to get them, and you can't put 20 hours to them ball away. What you can do about? And there is no ball with no ice to top on them. So when you store up them here, you stop a ball. And that is very bad. I took the $20 out of $100. There is too much money, and you can't get a box, and you can't get proper box and them go the ball on them. And if the government have to do this, otherwise, nothing we can do.
I've been working here for about 17 years now. This was my counter. They take it away, so they're going to bring their vendors here to work. Up to now, they ain't bringing the vendor as yet. And the Howie going all over the place, selling fish, and different people come and they ain't operating the stall as yet. They say they're moving the vendors from where they are because they're making a lot of money, so they don't want down here anymore. So we want help. We need help right here. So we want back our counter. They need to give us back our counter because they ain't doing nothing here. So
Plenty wickedness are going on in the fish market. We need the Prime Minister to step in. Please, please, Prime Minister, to step in the market and see the pressure we are facing in the New Kingston fish market. We need you, comrade, we need you, step in.
Unsuccessful attempts were made to get comment on the issue from officials in the Ministry of Fisheries, as well as the input warehouse. Tomorrow, January 12th, will mark the 3rd anniversary of the rock gutter tragedy, in which 7 students lost their lives in a bus accident while on their way to school. On that fateful day, the bodies of 5 of the students were recovered from the rough seas. 2 are, however, not recovered and are presumed dead. On radio today, PM Gonsalves said, while the parents have opted for a more solemn remembrance, 3 years on, he highlighted the importance of standing in solidarity with the family and people of Fancy.
I am sure that each of these schools, North Union Secondary, Georgetown Secondary, and the Grammar School, would remember the unfortunate passing of these beautiful, talented young people of immense promise.
Yes.
I want at the same time to extend yet again solidarity with the parents and the immediate family and friends of these 7 persons, and to the community in Fancy. I know that tomorrow, though they're not having, I've been advised, any special celebration tomorrow, I know it will weigh heavily.
Yes, it would.
On no special commemoration.
Yes.
It will weigh heavily on the minds of the parents and their friends, their teachers, and the family and the people of Fancy. Yes. And I extend solidarity and love to all of them.
2 family members who spoke with our news team earlier today via the telephone admitted that they are still hurting. However, they are coping with the support from others and cherished memories of their loved ones who died in the tragic accident.
It's not easy. We cry because there are things in our house that reminds us of her. We have pictures of her in our house, so looking at them sometimes we remember stuff about her that we used to enjoy, so it's not very easy. I remember one time when she used to go to school, Mommy tell her, she used to always come 10th. Mommy say, Anik, if you don't pass, I'm not buying such and such for you. And she go to school and she came 9th. So instead of coming 10th, she come 9th. Her friendliness. So if you're sad and she comes around, she would say something and you would just laugh. She's the type of person, she would make you feel happy. Even though if you're sad on the inside, she would make you laugh.
Yeah, I still cry sometimes, but I am dealing with it better. I want to thrive on the memories, being it good or bad, but mostly good. Sometimes I just go back and remember her smile, and that makes me smile also. And, well, as I say, for the 3 years and being it tomorrow, like for the week, it's emotional. It's emotional in that, you remembering everything, it coming back fresh. But we, as the 7 parents, we got together on New Year's Day. We counsel each other, we comfort each other, so we knew what each other was going through. And we decided that this year we just want to be quiet, just grieve. Nobody have the energy, because we didn't have the energy to do anything. We just want a quiet day, just grieve and remember our children.
As they reflect on the past year, educators, students, parents, and other well-wishers gathered earlier today at the New Testament Church of God at Wilson Hill for the annual Thanksgiving service hosted by the Ministry of Education. At the event, addresses were made by a number of government officials, including cultural performances from students and the offering of prize for education institutions, administrators, and all stakeholders in education. We hear more about today's event in this report from Nikita Tony.
Celebrated under the theme Reflect, Rejoice, Give Thanks, the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, earlier today, Thursday, January 11th, hosted its annual Thanksgiving church service at the New Testament Church of God, Wilson Hill. Pointing out that her ministry will seek to continue its mandate of educating the youth of SVG during 2018 and beyond, Parliamentary Secretary within the Ministry of Education, Deborah Charles, in her remarks, thanked all officials within the ministry, educators, students, parents, and other stakeholders for their outstanding and continued support.
Thank you for the service you have given in the past, and we look forward to your continued support in this venture. We believe that education is the vehicle that will propel our nation forward in this century. We must be dedicated to the task we have to perform. This morning I ask all of us to think of what this nation would be like if all of us as public servants, all of us as ministers, all of us as students and teachers, head teachers alike, give our best to the people whom we serve on a daily basis.
Speaking on the need for persons to place emphasis on the true meaning of the words dedication and legacy, Senator Charles further left the charge with the educators and students present at today's Thanksgiving service.
I just want to say to us, sometimes there may be students in our classes that may not look appealing or may have the worst attitude, but let us stick with them. Let us be dedicated to the task of teaching. Think about what the legacy you would leave after you would have left after 30, 35, 40 years of teaching. What would the students say about you? Students, this is not only for teachers, this is also for you. That when you are given, you have been given much. This government has placed primary premium on you, and you are to give it your best shot. Teachers will work hard with you, and you are to accept the fact that they are working, and therefore you give your best.
The event also featured an exciting praise and worship session along with other cultural performances. Here's a highlight of today's proceedings.
Lord,
today. Oh God, in the buildings today, in the classrooms. Lord, I am asking you, Lord God, to enter right now.
We have advanced as a nation academically because of your goodness. And I want to thank you, God, for what you're doing and continuing to do.
You are our Jehovah Jireh, and we put our trust in you. We put our confidence in you. We pray that you will have preeminence.
A moment of silence was also observed for the educators and students who had passed on during the past year. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Next Tuesday, January 16, 2018, will mark 60 years since the Mountain View Adventist Academy began providing educational opportunities to youths across SVG. The institution will be hosting a week of activities to commemorate this milestone, which will kick off from this Sunday, January 14th, with a health fair at the school grounds. Coordinator of the health fair and past student of the Mountain View Academy, Dr. Brendan Richards, said the fair, which is set to begin at 10 a.m. on Sunday, seeks to showcase all areas of health and body care provided by professionals who would have passed through the portals of the institution.
We are not just having the general health screenings in terms of the blood pressure, blood sugar, the BMIs. We're also having special features as concerns dental checks that would be done by past students who are health professionals. Also be having eye clinics by another past student, Dr. Adams. We'll also be having ear, nose and throat checks, and a special feature which we've added, which is a massage station. Trying to make it as practical as is possible and as holistic. We would also be having a fitness indoor session by Mr. Lyndon J.
Dr. Richards said the fair will also feature a number of activities and healthcare services for children.
Providing a bouncing castle that would also provide some form of fun aerobics for the children, and we would be having, in addition to that, healthy snacks. We're moving away from the corn curls to more healthy snacks like popcorn, peanuts, possibly we should be having some plantain chips and other snacks along that side with box juices that are good for the kids. I want to really involve the kids, not just in getting materials for reading, but how to read in terms of the best light to read under, the best postures to occupy when you're reading. Like a little prize giving thing where they read at their level, be it from grade 2 to grade 6 or from grade 2 to form 2, and they're able to read at their competency. If they're able to read a paragraph that is of 2 sentences and they're able to read it at their level adequately, then they get a notebook.
Richards, a dental surgeon by profession, said persons attending the fair can also expect health consultations, as well as a showcase of healthy local food products from a number of local producers.
Session by Dr. Patterson that promotes health of body and mind, making use of one of our past students' business. He being a more or less young entrepreneur, Mr. Bowman's Pharmacy. He was also a past student. And we will be focusing not just on the dispensation of drugs, but how to use them and their proper storage. Having healthy raw foods like sweet potato, dasheen, plantains, etc., breadfruit, that would be on sale, most likely at a reduced price. Come and enjoy this, free of cost. It's going to be something that would really make you get some fresh air in and make health as natural as it ought to be, and not something that is just pilled.